This is Sizzle Lean, powered by Fit to Be Trained, coming to you from the Deep End Broadcasting Network studios in the lovely Virginia Beach, Virginia, here in the United States of America. You can find this program on deependbroadcasting.com and subscribe to this network's YouTube channel, Deep End Broadcasting. Here's your host of Sizzle Lean, Karen Doherty.
It still cracks me up every week. I don't think I'll ever tire of it. Ever. Although he does let it go on for a little bit of a long time.
Well, you can talk over it. You don't have
uncomfortable.
to. Talk over that crowd.
I know. It's me, Karen, a.k.a. Sizzle from Fit to Be Trained. And I am excited tonight because I have a guest again, and I love it when I have guests on. And I am going to talk a little bit about Caroline before she comes on. I met Caroline, guess where? At the CrossFit gym. So many of these podcasts go back to that community. So it's really cool. I hope that message gets out to people. So if you move to a town and you're like, I don't know anybody, go to your local CrossFit gym and you will immediately be in a community, because so many of my guests have been in CrossFit, even maybe from a different state, because everybody's kind of friendly when you're in that community. It's really cool.
Storm the place with a 12-pack of Michelob Ultra and you'll be a hero to all.
And everybody will love you. It's so wonderful. I love that. I love it. But anyway, I have Caroline Morin on tonight, and and she's a local girl here in Virginia Beach, and I wanted to have her on because we used to partner up in CrossFit once in a while. Now, she's a little bit more athletic than me, but that's okay. And she was always kind and nice, and I loved partnering up with her because we would laugh and giggle and joke around the whole time, do our lifts. We would do our work.
A very positive classmate, I can say.
Exactly. Well. Super fun, super lighthearted, and it was always a pleasure to be around her. And when I ran into you in church and I knew that you were in the health and fitness world now, that's why I really wanted to get you on this show and talk to you and like kind of catch up and find out what's going on. What are you up to? But I kind of want to go backwards a little bit. And I love these shows because then I get to, like, some people I've known for many, many years, and I get to find out so many things about y'all. It's really pretty wonderful. I already know you're wonderful, but now I'm going to find out even more. So you've always been in incredible shape. You always have. And like I said, you were always a little bit stronger than me. I'm not sad about it, but always have been in great shape, took care of yourself. How did you begin in fitness?
That's so funny because I do not see myself as being stronger than you. I was just always in there having a really good time and trying to keep up.
And I love that for, like, that's the thing, is that's like, we were really having a good time in there. Nobody's even taking notes on that kind of stuff. So I want people to know it's not as a competitive environment as people really think it is, you know?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. And I don't think I always was in really great shape. I think there's definitely been like ebbs and flows and all of that. I mean, when I was a kid, I just ran around and played outside all the time, loved being outside, was kind of like a tomboy, and started playing a little bit of lacrosse. And we didn't even have lacrosse for girls when I was growing. That's how old I am.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. I was going to say.
Yeah. So I like played with the boys, like on the little, like the boys league for like when I was like little.
Did you grow up around here in Virginia?
I grew up in Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so just like, played sports in high school and college a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that was all over, just always like to work out because it's fun and I think it's good community, right? Mm-hmm. And meet a lot of people, and I just need to move. It's like my, my therapy, right?
I agree. It is. And it's how I express myself too. I realize like I get really down and out if I'm not moving.
Yeah. And I think there definitely have been like periods in my life when I wasn't moving, when like my kids were small and I felt like I couldn't afford to go to the gym, or I didn't have time to go to the gym, like different phases in life. And that once I realized that that's something that like I need to thrive, like to work out and to move and to be around other people encouraging me and stuff like that. That's, and I started investing in that, in myself in that way. That really has been an important part of my life. For sure.
Well, have you trained different styles? Like I met you in a group fitness class. Have you always preferred group fitness or different styles? Have you tried like we talked a little bit, and I know that you do like to try different things. Do you have any favorites or?
I loved CrossFit because I think especially the community, right? And it really encouraged me to do things that I never would have thought that I would be able to do on my own.
I agree.
Absolutely. And like, pick up weights that I thought were heavier, like jump on boxes that were higher than I thought was like possible for me to jump on, do pull-ups and stuff, like things that I just never would have thought were possible. And so that's super empowering, I think, about CrossFit. But yeah, just kind of other things like group fitness classes, worked out like just with a personal trainer, which I like the one-on-one. I like a group more than one-on-one, just personally.
Me myself. Too.
I just like too. Whatever. Only thing I don't love is spin. Sorry, spin people. I just don't love spin.
Right.
I agree.
My butt hurts every time I get for that long.
I did it when I was 30 years old, literally for like a year, because I lived in Minneapolis and there was this really cool, cool gym to go to. And the guy had the best music and he was super trendy and it was really fun. And I wanted the cardio, that was, God, I was 30. That's 30 years ago, y'all. God.
What was your favorite sport, Caroline, to play in like high school and growing up and stuff?
Definitely, I love to play lacrosse. I wasn't really great at it. I was definitely like the bench crew of the lacrosse team. I was like the one with like holding out the signs and like cheering everybody on. Bench warming crew. But I loved that, and a little bit of soccer and not basketball. I can't play basketball.
Either. I can't run and dribble and I can't do it all. Traveling, I would always hear traveling. I would run and dribble at the same time. Or no, if you hold the ball and run, that's traveling. Yeah. Struggle.
I'm a very good basketball player.
Are you?
I must admit myself. Yeah. Yes.
I respect basketball people.
Yeah.
No one expects me to shoot the 3-point shot, yet I'll shoot it right in their face every time. And then I'll steal the ball from them as soon as they get it.
Nice. Yeah. I guess that's how you do it. Yeah. What are your thoughts about balancing fitness, nutrition, and mindset with overall well-being? And I kind of know the answer to this, but I'm going to let you say it.
Oh my gosh, balancing it all is everything. I mean, I don't think you can really like tease apart. When somebody comes to me on like a wellness journey, trying to get more fit or maybe lose weight or maybe get healthier, like, I don't know, lower their A1C or like, improve their blood work numbers. It's never just one thing, right? It's never like just the gym or just nutrition or just like, it's managing stress and getting quality sleep and it's all of the things. And it's about figuring out like which lever to pull first that's going to impact the other elements and make
interesting way to put it. I like that. The one that's the most important that's going to kind of bleed into the other factors. Yeah.
Yeah. And that could be like different for everybody, like which one is more.
Absolutely. Right.
When you start to like, when you wake up in the morning and like go to the gym and work out really well, you're like more inclined to eat a healthier lunch. Like you're like, oh, I just worked out. Like that felt so good. Right.
I agree. So let's go into a little detail. What is your business name? What is it called? And what made you transition? I know you were a teacher for a long time. So let's talk about your business.
Yes. I was a teacher for like 20 years, kind of on and off, and loved being a teacher. At some point during like pre-pandemic, I want to say, like those years are all blurry to all of us.
Right. They really are.
And I had come across a certification to be a health coach. And I was like, oh, that looks like fun. Like just something as a hobby. My kids were getting older. I thought maybe it might be something fun to do, like as a side hustle when my kids were in college or something. And it was a really long process, and I learned so much about myself and had so much fun with it. And when we all got back into the classroom after being out of the classroom for the pandemic, people were stressed out. Like, teachers were stressed before all of that. But when we came back, there was a lot going on. And so I started bringing some of the health coaching kind of into my colleagues and doing some small group coaching, just kind of for fun.
Wow. Yeah, but to be helpful to your colleagues, like, yeah, that's brilliant. It's kind of why you were probably put on that path, if you think about it. So you could help them when you got. That's really neat. I'm sorry, go on.
No, there's so much synchronicity and all of that, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And I started having a lot of fun with that, realizing that I was able to take all the things I love the most about teaching and use them in coaching adults to do hard things themselves, right? And to feel better and to bring their best selves to work, because everybody who's a teacher loves being a teacher, but it's hard. And if we don't have that, and work-life balance is such a misnomer in all of that. But if we don't have life balance, right, and time spent taking care of ourselves as much as we're taking care of other people, then things start getting out of whack, right? It's
really murky. Yes.
And, sick and tired and overwhelmed and all of that. And I had been through that myself.
Right.
So it was just really fun and kind of healing for me to help other people do the same for themselves.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And I can see you being so good at that, because you're just plain fun to be around. But I mean, that's really neat. I'm so happy that you were able to help those other teachers, because that was such a stressful, weird time, for the lack of better words. It was all so unique. Nobody in any industry knew how to handle that. It didn't matter if you were in science, finance, teaching, health, and fitness. Didn't matter. It was crazy. Well, you kind of covered a lot of the, how did you transition into this field? That was great. Did you get certifications? Yeah. Were you certified with ACE by chance? Was that, because you and I talked about ACE before. Yeah. That's who I'm certified with. So
okay,
I know
they're amazing. But no, I started out with the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and thousands and thousands of people have gone through that program. So probably a lot of people familiar with that, IIN. And that was a year-long program. And then I realized that coaching is a whole different skill set than just teaching or giving information to people. It's a totally different way of communicating. It's a totally different way of talking and listening to people. And I realized that I had a lot more to learn than I thought I did when I got started in all of this.
Wow.
So I did some more certifications and got my national board certification for health and wellness coaching, which is really trained to the highest standard in the profession, because I'm just kind of type A, annoying like that.
I was going to say, I do know you, and maybe our listeners don't know, but of course you did. Of course you did. And I would have probably done the same, you know, but I didn't realize like it's a year long, like that's a long time, you know, that's
yeah. Like all told, it was like 2 years of training,
right.
You know, getting hours in and everything. And then just like a lot of practice. And I feel like I'm just like scratching the surface to coaching and all of this. And I'm sure you experienced the same thing when we're like learning something new in this industry. There's always new things to learn. And
that is what's cool about our industry. It is like you get bored, then you can go educate yourself and get something, you know, and we have to have a certain amount of CECs every year for all our certifications. It doesn't matter who we're certified with. Some are better than others, but most of us are done, you know, with a respected certification. You've got to get CECs. So it keeps us interesting and interested, you know? Yeah. So yeah, I love that. I love that it was so like Pilates Reformer was really long, and people think like, oh yeah, you teach the Pilates Reformer, oh no big deal, because there's all these boutique studios around and all that kind of stuff, and that's a little different. That's called working out with the Reformer, which is really super cool. But to learn the actual practice, it takes like 2 years, like you said, like to really. By the time I was done school, I had to go into Richmond. It's a really long process. And I think a lot of folks aren't really aware how educated fitness trainers, health coaches, wellness coaches are. You know, they think we're just out there in tights having a good time.
Well, I'll tell you,
there's a lot more to us than that.
I was so fortunate to be able to go to the ACE Fitness, the IDEA conference that they have every year.
Oh yeah, I haven't been in years, but it's inspiring, isn't it?
It was so amazing. So it was this like very serendipitous chain of events that led me to apply for the scholarship to get to go out there when I was still teaching full time, and I like won the scholarship to get to go to the conference. And I got out there and I was surrounded, like looking around to me with all these people who were making fitness and health and wellness their profession. And it sounds silly, but I was like, oh my gosh, like people do this for a living. Like this is a real thing. And I was like meeting people that I could see.
It's a lot of happy people.
Yeah. Right. A lot of really happy people, like following what they love, doing what they love. And
inspiring each other. It's a loving crowd.
It was great. It was, and that was what I think really, like, if you ask, like, what was like the one thing that like tipped the scales for me, it was definitely going to that conference and seeing what was possible and meeting such like smart, educated, trained, dedicated professionals. So.
Right. I remember going to that, and it probably was the idea. Were you out in California? Thing
in LA.
Yeah, I was out in LA too when I went. It was years ago, and I went a couple times, and then my son was born, and those kind of things. But I used to go almost every year to that out in LA, and I remember like I'm Stott Pilates Marathon trained, and that's a very high level training in. And that's why school was so hard. But I remember her being there, like in the beginning. She's a Canadian girl, and like when it all started, and some of these trainers have evolved to huge levels, and it's so cool to see, and it's so cool to be a part of that. Like I remember just taking a little mat class with her, you know, and it's like, wow, look at her now. And she deserves to be where she's at. You know, she turns out a lot of really, really good educated trainers.
I got something. Caroline, I'm looking at your website now, and you viewers and listeners can go check it out at Caroline Morin healthcoaching.com. That's Caroline Morin healthcoaching.com. And I'm looking at your balanced snacks freebie section, which is all the way at the end. And if you sign up, you get 22 recipes right in your inbox. I see these lovely little peanut butter little chocolate.
I think they're already in Steve's inbox.
Brownies. I don't know. I'm
Those are
signing
good.
it
I'm
down.
gonna make you some, Steve. I'm gonna make you some brownies.
That sounds good for sure. But snacking is a huge thing. I mean, that's where you can make and break yourself at the end of the day. So maybe stress the importance of that and some of the things that are involved in some of these recipes you got going on here.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great thing to do as a freebie, is give them snacks that you can monitor and approve of. Brilliant. In fact, I better look into that so I can share them with my clients.
Oh my gosh, please do. I love it. I'm all about
myself. Because I
my
snacked
husband,
last night and I
You
had
did?
a little problem. Yes, I had those rice crackers, which are really, really good, but I went over. I just couldn't stop. And I was overtired, overstressed, and quite frankly, I'm not on weight loss right now. But as far as balance, I probably shouldn't have eaten the entire rest of the box. I didn't start it from the beginning, and then I had an ice cream cone, which I didn't feel guilty about either. But and I really enjoyed it. But we both know, like, that was because I was tired. You know, we have hungry, angry, lonely, tired, and I'm in recovery for addiction, and they use that as one of our tools. And you probably learned that in coaching. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So if you come up to if you come up on a point in your life where you're just like, okay, I'm going to, go off my diet, you say to yourself, or I don't mean to say diet, because me and Caroline aren't going to put you on diets, but you know what I mean? Like, if you're falling off on anything, am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? And if any of those things are going on, address that. And then you most likely, by the time you're done addressing it, you're not going to need that little snacky anymore.
Yeah. That difference between understanding that physical hunger and that emotional hunger is huge for people. And there's nothing worse than polishing off the ice cream and then on top of that, feeling bad about it, beating yourself up about it and going this shame spiral about overeating something. And so
that's why I suggested, because I know it's ice cream season, and that tends to be one of the downfalls for a lot of my clients. It's either drinking wine or ice cream, and both of them I want them to be able to do. And right now I don't have a lot of clients dealing with the wine thing. It is more the ice cream thing. So the best thing I always say is, I had an ice cream cone. Don't buy the gallon.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. Buy servings.
Yes.
Then if you have one serving, you're done,
And we live very close to this amazing ice cream shop. So what if you walk to the ice cream shop and get the ice cream and walk home? Love it.
It's funny that you said that, because I know what ice cream shop you're talking about. What's that called? Let's peg them real quick.
A shout out, Blue Cow.
Blue Cow, it's great, Great Neck Road. I've given them, I'm a fitness trainer. I've given that gift certificates as gifts, because it's very, very healthy ice cream. If you're not, if you can have dairy.
Yeah, it's very good. It's not the worst stuff in the world.
It's really, really good. And it comes in portions.
Yeah.
I don't give my clients $100 gift certificate to Blue Cow, but for a serving.
They'll get yourself a treat, right?
Right. And then especially my one who has issues with ice cream, that's one of her favorite things. I said that to her. I was like, go to Blue Cow, make it to go with your husband, go with your granddaughter, make it a celebratory thing. And there's no shame in that. And then leave. Don't bring it home. There are ways to really get around the snacking thing.
Well, you should see some of these snacks on her page, Karen.
Steve's studying your page. I love it.
So look, we got
that speaks volumes, Caroline, about your page.
Black bean and spinach egg muffins.
Yum.
Oh yeah.
Edamame cream cheese toast.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the biggest salmon guy, but smoked salmon.
I am. I love salmon.
Avocado chicken wrap. As simple as that can be a good healthy snack, right?
Yeah.
I had chicken and avocado for
The
lunch.
chocolate peanut butter protein bars is where I'm at here.
I know. That's where I get stuck too. It's so good. Right. But when we're fueled and we're like well fed and nourished, we tend to have a lot fewer like cravings or binge or all that. So it's
I agree with you. Yes.
Fueling and adding in all the good stuff. So
who do you typically work with? Do you have a target audience, or what's going on with that? Or is it just anybody?
I work with anybody. I've had clients like kind of all across the board, but generally the people who tend to find me are either women in their 40s and 50s who've like kind of tried everything and are sick of it. And some people are like on the fence about going on a weight loss medication and they're not really sure. And so, I mean, I work with clients who are on weight loss medication. I work with clients who don't want to do the weight loss medication and want to do it without the weight loss medication. And then I also work with a lot of teens. I get a lot of teens who kind of struggle with like unhealthy relationships with food, and they're really fun. They're my people. So it's kind of
that's really interesting. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Cause that's important. And that's always teens can be a hard group to reach. So I commend you for being able to, somebody's got to do that, and it's hard to reach them. So you must be pretty anointed to be able to reach the teen.
I've got daughters. They keep me straight.
What's the general stigma that teens usually have issues with food, Caroline? Is it just trying to live up to everyone, all their peers' expectations?
It's like the same thing that we had in the 80s and the 90s. It's like body image stuff, and it's just different. Like in our era, it was like the skinny supermodels, and these girls have like the fit, athletic, like build, like that kind of like whatever body type is kind of changed, but it's still the same thing, right? And they're still like trying to chase another image of something. It's
I did it.
A lot of nonsense on like Instagram and TikTok. It's the same stuff that's getting all of us like try these tips or these tricks, and some of that can be like a super slippery slope for teenagers.
Right.
Once you start like searching healthy stuff, like some really unhealthy like tips and behaviors can start to come up to like really feed some super disordered eating habits. And that's kind of scary.
Yes, it is.
But I think that those are really the two things. But these girls are like, they're like in the know. Like they see their parents dieting. They like grew up seeing like their moms like struggling with body image and all the like the weight medication. And they're like, I don't want that. Like, I don't want that. I want something different. And so they're like kind of hungry for that information and like how to have a healthy lifestyle and do it well. Cause we just don't teach that very well in the
No, we never have. If you think about it, Caroline, I never was taught anything about eating when I was growing up.
Because they still teach.
No, not at all. Yep.
Never. If you
They
think
still
about it,
teach
not even in health.
It's like My Plate now, but they still teach like My Plate, which is not the healthiest of nutrition plans, in my opinion. And so, they don't understand some of the basics. They want to know information. They want to, I think it's about like learning to listen to their body, right?
How are they reaching you, Caroline? How are they hearing of you? How is this happening?
Just word of mouth. I mean, I'm like on Instagram a little bit, but I don't like live there. So it's mostly just people who know me or have met me. Like I'm a real person. So
Right. Word of mouth is key. That's why I wanted to it really is like, or getting people to hear, like it was so funny because I was talking about a podcast the other day and my buddy, who's a good friend, goes, "You have a podcast?" And I was like, I guess I better advertise that more.
Right.
Yeah, I do. And I've had it for a while. Oops. So
you got to self-promote a little bit, really, right?
Yeah, and that's the hardest part, Where do you see your coaching business heading in the next few years?
That's a good question. I mean, I get really excited about helping other people to have a transformation in their lives. And so, you could only do but so much with, one-on-one coaching. I love small groups because I'm a former teacher. So I love that. And I love this market, helping teens. And so we've got some fun.
I bet you do. That must be very, very rewarding. And I'm so, I don't know what the right congratulations, I don't know what the right word is I want to say about how it's so endearing to me because like I said, that's a hard population to reach. And I'm so grateful because like you said, some really serious problems can come out of that if they're not, coached or helped. So I really appreciate you taking that on. Any exciting upcoming projects or programs or anything?
We've got our B-Cycle Smart class, which is a hormone health and cycle awareness class for teens, for girls in high school. And we've got a cohort for girls in college. And we're launching some programs in the summer, starting sort of end of June, which is, I guess, coming up. So that's fun. That's a fun project. Good
timing. I'm so glad I had you.
That's some good summer stuff.
Where would they find information on that? Is that on your website? And
yes, there will be a link on my website, and we're at bcyclesmart.com.
Great. That's fantastic. I'm so glad I asked that because I almost didn't.
What's the name of the other website? I got your Caroline Morin health coaching on there, but what's the other one?
It's B-Cycle-Smart. So BECYCLESMART, bcyclesmart.com. And we're on Instagram.
So cycle like a bike cycle, right?
Yeah. But like the mental cycle. Talking,
There we go. All right.
Breaking all the taboos. Thanks, Steve. You got it. Breaking all the taboos and answering all the questions. Because look, I don't know about you, Karen. Well, I guess not Steve, but going through perimenopause, menopause, was really challenging because we didn't know what the heck we were doing or what hormones even were. So we're just going to turn around and help the girls behind us not have such struggles as
I just love that
as us in our 40s and 50s over here.
Right. Because it really does matter. We didn't know anything about it. I've had some really bumps in the road through my life that I've kind of gone, what was that about? And I look back now with the knowledge that we all have in the health and wellness area on hormones and go, oh, that's what was happening. And some serious bumps. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I really think that my relapse where I was 7 years sober, clean and sober, and I relapsed. I went back and there was a hormonal issue going on with me, but everything else in my life was going really well. It was bizarre that I relapsed. But when I tell you what was going on with me, it wasn't that bizarre. It makes anybody sense. In the professional realm, was like, oh, this isn't that bizarre, hon. There's a lot of hormones going on.
Let me ask you this, Caroline, because I think you might be tapped into this a little bit more than other people. And I mean, I don't know how much this has to do with fitness, but I guess it correlates in some way or another. And you're tapped into that younger age group. Do you feel like bullying is more prevalent today than it was back when we were kids? Or is that maybe just overblown from the social media and such? Or is it really that much kind of worse nowadays?
That's not something that I have run across very much, and like either with my kids who are like, now college age. But yeah, I mean, like because of social media and because these kids are so
but that's
connected.
Good to hear, like any kids that are overweight, since you're right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's
good that you don't
know.
like
kind of getting
that's a good sign.
Well, you wonder how much is maybe overplayed. I mean, because bullying was definitely prevalent when we were younger. You hear a lot about it now.
Yeah.
And now with social media, it's so much more.
Yeah. I think you just
can't
like
get
an
overweight teenager. Yeah. But that's good. I'm glad to hear. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not happening, but you haven't heard of, you're not dealing with that. That's fantastic. What's a more memorable lesson you've learned from both teaching and coaching? Is there something that you could think of that you're like, wow, that I wasn't expecting that?
and I wasn't expecting that kind of.
Well, I didn't mean to throw that in there, but just something where you were like, oh, interesting.
I mean, gosh, there's just so many things, right? But I think the number one thing that I have that I have learned in all of this that was really applicable when I was teaching third graders, and I just was not something that I was like aware of, even as an adult, right? Like we teach our kids, like how to make mistakes and how to mess up and how to learn through their mistakes. And we teach them that when they're trying to do, I taught third grade, so I taught multiplication, right? And multiplication is super hard. And so you would teach a kid who was struggling how to do multiplication. And if they messed up and made a mistake, we were like, that doesn't mean that you're not smart. That just means that you haven't learned how to do this yet. And there was a lot of build up in building a kid's efficacy and being able to do hard things. And we have these mantras all over, we can do hard things. And then sometimes as adults, we kind of forget that. And when we're trying to make a change or do something that feels hard, show up at the gym consistently or eat better, whatever your goal is, right? When we mess up and we overeat the ice cream, right? We make that about us. And we're like, oh, I suck. I fail at this. I mess up at this all the time. And when it gets hard, we're like, that just means it's because I'm bad at this. Instead of knowing that means I'm learning and growing and doing something new. And so it's just going to be hard. And I think that there's just so many parallels that I see from teaching third grade to helping adults with change. But
I always tease clients prepare to suck. When you start a new job, remember going to I always joke with people, starting a new job is the worst.
Oh yeah.
When I was in corporate America, where's the copy machine? Who's this and that? All the new stuff of where you just don't know where you're at. You're just kind of fumbling around. So it's kind of like that when you're starting anything new, and to give yourself a break is probably what you're teaching,
Yeah.
We need to give ourselves more break. Yeah, just prepare to be not good at it. Because think of the yogis. I mean, they're always like, it's the journey. It's the journey. You don't want to be. And if you were really good at something right away, then what would be the point of learning? And it's kind of is true, but we're hard on ourselves at times.
And if you're not having fun on the journey, then when you get there to the destination, it's what even is it? I don't even know.
Yeah, and sometimes hard things are what really are most rewarding. I mean, we know that in fitness, the rewards, are you have to do some work. It's just the way it is. I'm in a school for sales right now, and you have to do the work or you're you have to put in the footwork. Everything is, moves like a machine. This is a kind of a fun one, and I don't mean to catch you off guard, but is there a fitness health myth you love debunking?
Oh my gosh, so many. Where do I even
I know, right? I know what mine is, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Oh, I want to know yours. Okay, you got to tell me yours.
Mine is that most people don't eat enough.
Oh, yeah.
That's mine. Like when I get there, when I have them track their food, I have the pleasure of telling them that they need to eat more, and they're like, "What?"
Oh my God, people cannot wrap their heads around that. That's so hard to understand because we're like conditioned into like believe that we've got to eat less and move more, right? So that would also be my number one health myth. But my new favorite number one myth to debunk is for women and like the fasted workout in the morning. I never knew this. Like women do better having a little something to eat before the hard workout in the morning because our cortisol levels are up in the morning, like to like wake us up, right? And if we fast and skip that and go right into our workout, our cortisol levels just keep going up and up and up and up. The food like kind of tells them, okay, we're safe. We can chill out. We can calm down now. And that is one of the other biggest challenges I see with my clients is that they're like stressed all the time. And so we don't need to keep like adding fuel to the cortisol fire. So
I'm so glad you said that because guess who does that? Me.
Yeah.
And well, because I go to the 6 a.m. often.
Right.
For my own workouts. And I remember though, because when I started learning about cortisol a couple years back, that's, maybe more than a couple years, but you know what I mean? Cortisol was started to come to our attention and because I was a high stress person, but I remember thinking like, God, why if I've worked out, why am I more stressed?
Yeah.
And it was because of the cortisol. And now I'm kind of doing it again because I go to the 6 a.m. and I'm not eating anything first. Now, maybe the coffee with creamer helps. I try to drink water now, even before I drink coffee too, to kind of give your body a chance to kind of wake up before you put the caffeine in. I think that's another thing that does our cortisol no good. But I like that you mentioned that. Like maybe I know people poo-poo a piece of toast, but I don't. I like a nice, whole wheat, or I get that Dave's, and I haven't had it in so long, and I miss it. I like it with a little bit of butter on it, or even an avocado or something. Yeah. I like that. I'm glad we had this little talk because I've been starting every morning this week at 5:30, so I haven't been eating. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because
get your act together, Karen.
I know, right? Like practice
what we preach.
I've
been like totally following Stacy Sims. And I will send you a podcast. She's like having a moment. She seems like she's on like everybody's podcast right now, but she studies women's health and women's physiology. And so I've been playing around with that, and I'm telling you, I feel a lot better. I feel it, and I'll see if I'm like seeing results from it. But she says try just like a couple bites of Greek yogurt and a little handful of berries before the gym. You don't want to like eat a whole like giant breakfast before you go.
Right. She's
like a
we're
tiny
not talking
and a tiny bit of carbohydrates so that you're and I'm not going to like explain the biological mechanisms well enough. So I'm going to send you the podcast, but
I'm writing her name down right now. Stacy Sims. Cool. Yeah. Thanks. Because I'm like, you never grow out of it. That's what's cool about this industry. Yeah. Like there's ebbs and flows. Sometimes we're doing really good. Sometimes my macros are met. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes like if I'm training for something, right now I'm not training for anything. And it's kind of, I get to have fun, but I'll have an ice cream cone, not the entire gallon. I am trying to keep things, in check because it's summer and we want to look nice. Any words of wisdom or a favorite motto that you live by before you leave us tonight?
I don't really have like a motto, but you know what came right to my head as soon as you said that? And this is funny because Coach Lou from Valiant CrossFit Days, I know, right? Her voice is in my head all the time.
Right.
when I would like go to pick up a heavy weight, I don't know if she said this to y'all, but she would be like, easy, so easy, Caroline.
Yeah.
And she would just say the word easy in like her like calm little voice. And even though it was like a big effing heavy weight.
She did. That is one of her signature. Yep. Because I did personal training with her.
She's amazing.
For my lifts, and she would do that. Yep.
Yeah. And it's just like that, what we tell ourselves matters, right? If we tell ourselves it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard. We tell ourselves it's going to be easy, we can do it. Right. And so that's kind of my motto that runs in my head way more that she doesn't even know that. I don't think so. Maybe she'll hear.
Well, she'll know now because I think she listens. She listens to these podcasts, and she definitely will because you're a local girl. I'd like to think that she listens to all of them, but I mean, I don't expect anybody to listen to all of them, but I bet you she listens to this one. Because she knows you, and I think she thinks of us as all her kids in a way. We were all together at Valiant CrossFit. It was such a great family. I've been in several CrossFit
I do miss
gyms.
those days. I do miss those days.
Yeah, all CrossFit gyms are fun, but Valiant was pretty special in its own right because we all got really tight. And a lot of us, the three of us right here are from that gym. So they created a legacy. Sizzling is from Ned Atkins, the owner of Valiant, Lou's husband. And I just saw him at church on Sunday. And guess what he said to me? Hey, Sizzling. So it's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool circle that we created together. Yeah. And Caroline, I just want to thank you so much for taking out time and coming and spending time with us and telling us about your catching up and telling us about your successes. And I appreciate what you're doing with the teens so much, and hormones. That might be something to even look into further for us in the future. And if there's anything else, if there's not anything else, I'll let you go back to your regular life.
Oh, well, this was so fun. Thank you so much for having me, Karen.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Love you guys.
Thanks, Caroline. You'll be we'll have you again down the road, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We will, for sure.
We'll see you at the ice cream shop, maybe.
Yes, yes.
All right, guys.
That was so fun.
All right, cue up the music, sis. There you go. Well, all right, Caroline, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Another successful evening.
She was good.
She's really good.
Check out her website. I have it on the screen right now, but if you're listening, again, it's Caroline Morin, Morin, healthcoaching.com. All right, Karen, I guess we'll see you next week.
I know, right? I just like listening to that song. Have a great night, Steve. Thank you.
Thank you.
What a night. Oh, another great week. That's fun. I love doing this stuff. We're getting